Everybody, join the club. It's the Club World Cup on Footy Prime.
Ronda, tú tienes,
See, the issue with Latin music is when I hear Latin music, I just realize how my hips don't move that way. They just don't.
Your hips
Poor
do lie.
Tony. Poor Tony.
Oh, I know. Yeah, very rigid.
They lie, Sharms. Your hips lie.
My hips definitely lie. Yeah. There's not an honest bone in them.
Because there's nothing women like better than watching some guy dance who's all rigid.
There's not an honest bone in them. That's not what
Say that again slowly.
There's not an honest bone in. Anyway, it's a Club World Cup micropod. You can still catch all these games for free on DAZN. Just sign up DAZN.com, DAZN.com, and big games. Yesterday, of course, got two more today as the round of 16 continues. We finally got to see Inter Miami against that PSG match. We've been talking about that for a few days. And how would the Messi-led Inter Miami fare against the European champions? In the end, I think Miami's really happy it was only 4-0. Because I tell you what, Dubs, at halftime, I'm thinking, man, this could be a 7-er or an 8-er. They were absolutely destroyed in that first half. And MLS has come a long way. It's a good league. But defensively, it's still very suspect. And I think we're seeing that in this tournament.
I think they are, though. Like, you're getting a clash. I don't know if it's the true barometer of MLS's standing, right? I mean, this is PSG, and this is PSG kind of, almost. I mean, there's been a gap, there's been a lapse between their absolutely dominant and the thrashing of Inter Milan to win Europe, right? To be Champions League champs. But I mean, they picked up right where they left off against Inter Miami, where it was a total dismantling. Like, they are like almost toying with them. So it was unfair, really. Like, I think we went into it thinking any team with Messi maybe has a chance, but then you just watched a little bit of that matchup and you're just like, oh no, this is not going to end well for Inter Miami.
Yeah, Jimmy, I don't think it's fair to have any other opinion on MLS or Inter Miami out of this game. You're playing the champs, the best team in the world, quite honestly.
Yeah, I mean, look, they got out of the group stage, right? You go into the knockout stage, and you're playing against one of the best teams in the world, if not the best team in the world.
Maybe,
probably. And so for Inter Miami, you're probably looking at that thinking, okay, well, that was a good run in this Club World Cup. We're happy with that performance. And then you look at the other MLS team, Seattle, and you're thinking, what chance did they have with PSG, Atletico Madrid, and Botafogo? That was a tough group for them. But I thought Miami overall, in their group stage, I thought they played well and they handled themselves well, and they gave a good showing for MLS.
But Dubs, if you're Mascherano, you're still upset, aren't you? Some of the way these goals were conceded, as good as PSG is in their passing. I mean, my word, this defending is just schoolboy.
Yes, it is. And if honestly, if you had to criticize Inter Miami for something, I think especially in this MLS campaign, it would be the defending. Right. And then they looked very, very poor. They were exposed, quite frankly. But I wanted to go back to the MLS, not the argument, but the discussion, kind of where it fits in the world standing of football. Like, the ground that MLS has made up, not only in the perception, but in the actual kind of proof in terms of the on-field product. They have made tremendous, tremendous strides. But I mean, there's still a ways to go, obviously. Yeah. And this clash showed it.
Listen, MLS in the last 15 years has improved a lot more than the Premier League's improved, or the Serie A's improved, or, the Cruzeiro and Apertura in South America have improved. It is going one direction, Jimmy. It's getting better and better and better, but it's still a young league. So, there's a lot of people out there who hate MLS or hate on MLS. They don't understand it. They're stuck in their little Eurocentric tanks, searching for football oxygen.
Certain hosts,
yeah.
I watch. That's not fair.
Yeah, the 1 o'clock start in the morning.
You said it at 1:40 a.m. Like, that's British time, you wanker.
Yeah. One little mistake of my time.
With Dubs and I being gaslit by Sharms going, what the fuck is he talking about?
I read a match report that had that in it. having not actually watched that particular match other than the highlights. And then realized quite soon after, oh yeah, it was the only one, wasn't it? Anyway, Jimmy, MLS is still in a pretty good shape. And like you said, I think if you're Don Garber, you're satisfied with how your team's performed at this tournament.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, the league is heading in the right direction. You look at the stadiums, the crowds, the players that are coming to the league, the young players coming out of the league. It's getting better and better all the time. And it's like anything, it takes time to grow and nurture. So I think they'll be happy where MLS is right now. And again, eventually it's going to get there. And you just want to see MLS teams get as far as they can as possible. And you're right. Some of the Euro snubs will be looking at that game and going, see, I told you PSG's like way better than Inter Miami. No shit. PSG would beat anybody.
Shit.
Right now.
Well, they were way better than Inter Milan. So do we have to worry about Serie A? Like, can we make the same conversation happen, right?
Not when John David arrives.
No.
No, Serie A is bouncing back a little bit, actually, I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's had a real tough few years, but we're seeing Inter Milan, obviously, a couple of years in the Champions League final. AC Milan look not so great this past year, perhaps, but a strong team. Napoli, brilliant. They're bouncing back, but it's just the money is just kind of just dripped right into the Premier League, and that's kind of causes disparity. Except for, of course, Bayern Munich, for example, in Germany, who remain Bayern Munich. Looked really good yesterday in their match against Palmeiras. Harry Kane with a couple of goals again, just dominating. It wasn't the greatest performance by Bayern Munich, but a win's a win there, Dubs, and these European teams seem to be kind of figuring it out when they have to, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw. I mean, I don't think you could say Bayern Munich struggled, but I mean, you did maybe see the fatigue, maybe a little bit more listlessness than you would typically see from a team like this. That's a juggernaut that is just used to amassing the results, no matter who the opponent is. But just being able to get it done, and a guy like Harry Kane doing what he does. What a great angle. I love that shot in behind the goalkeeper to take a look to see what they're seeing as that shot's coming through, but not going to get close to that. Doesn't. And it's a great strike by Harry Kane. And I mean, like I've said it before, like, I don't know if there's a better number 9 in world football. I don't know if he gets enough credit, quite frankly.
It seems in a weird way, he's out of the Premier League and he's almost out of mind in a lot of people's minds, which is crazy because it's Bayern Munich. It's still the Bundesliga, still Champions League football. But he's gone over there, with this bullshit narrative surrounding him that he can't win the big one. And well, guess what he did? He won Bundesliga finally, thank God. Right? Who knows? He might win the Club World Cup. So good for Harry Kane. Best striker in the world right now? I don't know. He's up there for sure. He's not as dynamic though, right? Like nowadays, you want to see these fast, quick.
Doesn't have the flash, right?
Yes, it's the flash.
Yes.
Yeah, there's nothing flash about Harry Kane. He just gets the job done wherever he goes.
And a receding hairline doesn't help.
I don't think it's receding. It's just slicked back, isn't it?
No, it's receding. He'll be off to Turkey soon.
There's an article in, was it The Athletic or somewhere? I saw an article, and it was about his brother. His brother's a football agent, but his only client is Harry Kane.
Could be worse. Could be worse things.
It's a full-time job. He's got his desk. He's got all this, behind him, all the pictures and stuff like agents have. It's a very agency kind of office. Yeah. He looks good. He's all, well dressed and everything. And as a football agent, he's got one client.
Yeah, but you know what? He would be a full-time brand, right? Like everything across the board, from hiring social media experts to marketing, negotiating, lawyers, all across the board, which, nothing better than having a family member who you trust behind you.
Yeah. I wonder if he's in the office right now. Could we call him?
I think he's always in the office. He's a football agent. He's very important. He's just got his hand on his phone at all times anyway. But yeah, no, I thought that was a fun little story, actually. Mm-hmm. So today we have a couple of obviously biggies because it's a round of 16. So of course they're big games. We've got Man City. They're back in action in the late one against Al Hilal, and Inter Milan, as mentioned, the aforementioned Inter Milan against Fluminense. Pep was talking. I mean, Pep was responding to Jurgen Klopp ripping the Club World Cup, and Pep, he seems to be really enjoying himself. Do you see the beach soccer? He was doing the keepy uppies and keeping the ball up and that with his teammates on the beach, shirtless. Pep, looking great still, fine looking man. despite the also follically challenged, but looking good.
He owns it though.
He does own it. Yeah, he does. He says, asked about the comments and about this tournament as a whole. I want them to feel that this is our path again to be competitive like we have been in 8 of the last 9 years. After this, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens after the final. We will rest for the time the Premier League allows us. Maybe in November, December, or January, it will be a disaster. We're exhausted and the World Cup has destroyed us. I don't know. It's the first time in our lives that this has happened. We will see when we come back. Once we are here, we are proud. Many, many teams complain about these competitions because they are not here. Otherwise, they might love being here. I'm an extraordinary manager, but to control lightning and thunder, still, I am not good enough, in reference to the issues with the weather. I think that's a little bit lost in translation. He is confident, but I don't sense Pep being particularly arrogant. He's not a Mourinho saying, I am extraordinary.
I am special.
Yeah, right, exactly.
He's a guardian of soccer in that country.
Yes, he's definitely a guardian of soccer in that country. Very important. So that's Pep's response to Jurgen Klopp. He's refusing to acknowledge the panic of injuries and fatigue. But here's my question to you, Jimmy, as a former player and a former coach. How much rest do players need? I understand it's too much football. I'm not debating that. Clearly, it's too much football. But I mean, how much do you need between seasons? And like, how much is like doing nothing at all? How much is slowly building up again for the new season?
Well, normally when I would come home from England, I'd have 6 weeks. That was it, 6 weeks off. But then you would probably take 2 weeks off, maybe 2.5, where you do nothing. And then the third week, you start slowly starting to run again. The fourth week, maybe start to lift weights. And then you actually try to get half fit going into preseason so that you could really focus more on the football rather than all the running. So you know, as a footballer professionally, you're always kind of trying to look after yourself, but it was only a couple of weeks that you would really just take off and
so
just do nothing.
For a pro athlete, in 2.5 weeks, how does your body change in those 2.5 weeks? Because I can tell you, I can do some serious fucking damage in 2.5 weeks. But I'm not a professional athlete.
Yeah. So obviously these athletes are in prime condition, right? And well-oiled machines and genetic, I don't know, what's the word? Like, I mean, your weight of a much higher standing than compared to like the genetic. Thank you very much. That's the word I was looking for. But you're still losing a tremendous amount of your VO2 max and your aerobic base for every day that you don't do anything. But you have to balance that with your body's need to establish a base off of rest. You need to just not do anything, not active rest, not yoga, not running in the pool, like just nothing. And you need to have that. So I'm concerned when players don't have this, and then your ability to ramp it back up again and give yourself that base in terms of volume, and then adding on like the anaerobic stuff, the sprints, the soccer specific, whether it's you're doing it on the pitch or you're doing it off the pitch and in a gym, without the ability to give yourself that foundation, not only to mitigate injuries, but to just better prepare yourself for what you're about to face with the various competitions and the incredible amount of football that's on these players' plates. Like I am concerned. And Pep does allude to it, but he just says, but the draw, the allure of the Club World Cup, I mean, it's the money, it's the occasion to test yourself against the best in the world, to be seen in a different way, to elevate yourself if maybe your season domestically wasn't very good. Like, I think that's really tantalizing for not only the club in what's available as the purse, but for the players. But I mean, I think the reality of it is all going to come crashing down really soon.
Yeah. Do you know, I'll tell you this as well. When the season was done, we would get weighed, and you had your exit medical. You'd go for your summer, you know, a few weeks, 5 to 6 weeks. And whatever your fighting weight was, you had to come in back within 5 pounds of your fighting weight. Otherwise, you were getting a week's wages fined. So that kind of kept you on the straight and narrow a little bit, where you weren't going off the rails. It was kind of like, oh man, I got to make sure that I'm still in half decent shape going back.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the Gold Cup final, the Club World Cup final is on I believe the 13th, isn't it? July 13th?
Sunday the 14th, I thought.
14th, is it? Okay, whenever it is. 13th,
yeah,
14th.
or 13th. Sorry, I think.
Okay, July 13th. So say two teams are say City's involved there, for example. The Premier League season kicks off middle of August, right? So let's look at what their off season might look like. So they finished on the 13th, and then say they're given 2.5 weeks off. Say, right? Camp's already opened up for the players. The academy, they're still training, but you can't. Can you give players 2.5 weeks off completely, and then expect them to get back in shape and ready for a new season 2 weeks later?
See, I don't think you can.
You've got a month off, basically, a month between the end of the season and the start of the new season. Kickoff to kickoff, 1 month. You can't, right?
I don't think you can.
Jimmy, what are you doing? Amy, what are you doing? Your Pep? How much time off are you giving all the players that just played in the not academy players, but all the players who are in the United States playing in the Club World Cup? What's your schedule for them?
If I'm Pep, I'm increasingly reliant on my medical staff and the sports science to understand what I need to do. This is footballing. This is what I want to do. And I give it to them. How do I best prepare them for the rigors of the season? But also I want them to stay healthy. Like, we need to figure out the equilibrium, the balance between total rest and recovery, which we know we're not going to be able to achieve because we have a limited amount of time. And we would want to achieve this in terms of like footballing volume and output and sessions in order for me as a coach to have these players prepared to play the way that I want them to play. What's the middle ground? I think that's what you have to do, because I think you hear in Pep's words a little bit like where you're trying to weigh those two things about participating in the Club World Cup, but then also forecasting to, the holidays of this coming Premier League season where you don't want all your players dropping like flies. So you have to say, I'm going to outsource this. This is what I want to achieve footballing, but health of players, player welfare. Number one, I want them to be able to endure the next season because we want to have success. What do we do? And you come back with a plan.
August 15th is when the Prem kicks off, by the way, August 15th. So, yeah, I don't know how you do it, because even if you get through it, right? And even if you have your sports science people do the best they can do, and you get a little bit of rest off, maybe a week off between the two training camp and the end of this tournament, maybe get a week off, get back in, slowly build up. And maybe you get through the first half of the season. Okay, maybe by some fluke, most of your players are okay throughout the entire campaign. Guess what? Next summer, World Cup. And you've got players on Man City, for example, using them as an example, who will be going on long runs at the World Cup. And then you finish mid-July, the World Cup. And then you're exactly the same predicament as you're in now. It just is not sustainable. But we know this. We're not convincing anyone of this. But it's not going to change, is it?
But like, what's the tipping point? What has to happen in order for FIFA to understand that it's untenable, that it's not sustainable? What needs to happen?
When there's no more footballers left. Everyone's injured. And they're getting scab workers like myself. I'm playing for Man City. They've gone through every level.
At the end of your 2-week damage period.
Yeah, at the end of it, for a 51-year-old skinny fat man after a bender for 2 weeks. I'm now on the pitch.
Congratulations, James. That's like you did it. Good for you.
Yeah. But let's not forget as well, their squads are massive.
Yeah.
Well, like I said before, expand the squad size. Maybe that's it. But then that's the big teams benefit from that, right? The more money you have, the better depth you have. And
when you play in a Club World Cup, then you've deepened your pockets in terms of the amount of money that you're able to accrue, regardless of whether you're funded by Qatar or Saudi money. Doesn't matter.
It's legitimate money. It's prize money. It's not dodgy sponsorships. It's actually won this money. Yeah, so I think we've accomplished nothing from this conversation. We don't know what the answer is. There is no answer. They're playing too
I
much
wonder
football.
if we see more rotation, though. I wonder, just as a general rule, right? You just see more faces, more players, and you're really using the depth of your squad. To Jimmy's point, that you have these massive squads, so you see more faces, right? It's not like a Harvey Elliott saying he's wasting his prime, or he's wasting away kind of on the bench for Arne Slot's Liverpool. Maybe you see more players like him.
Harvey Elliott, player of the tournament at the Euro U21s, England champions. Just mentioned that, by the way. Yeah, maybe that's the solution. But 2027, is anything going on in men's soccer in 2027.
I'm so glad you said in men's soccer. Thank you for that.
I know there's a little tournament in Brazil, by the way.
Yeah.
So, Jesus, so angry.
No, just thank you for saying it. A lot of people wouldn't have said in men's football. I was really genuine. I was saying thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
I thought you'd be facetious.
No.
Thanks, Shams, for once remembering.
Yeah. Amy can be facetious.
I can. It's true.
But 2027 men's soccer, I don't think there's, because we've got a Gold Cup this year, obviously. Euro was last year, so that'd be 2028.
God.
There's no, so I think 2027 is a summer off. And I'm sure the clubs will not schedule tours that summer to protect their players. Sure of it. Okay. Well, listen, you can catch all the Club World Cup games on The Zone. And you can sign up right now at thezone.com. Do it. Meaningful matches. Where are we at? 21 minutes. We should probably call it quits. Well, I know you want to get into.
No. We can talk about this. It's an ESPN article that came out about attendance. I'm going to talk about why it's a bit disingenuous. But anyways, let's stream for free on DAZN.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Until our next show, which is tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone. Goodbye. Cheers for watching and listening.